Okay, the question, in case everybody didn't hear, is what's my opinion of taking care of parents in their home or in your home as opposed to an institution or rest facility or whatever. I believe that there are well-managed, well-run nursing homes, and they're always sad places, even the good ones. Right? So our goal with my dad, for example, our goal was to enable him to go to glory from his home. He loved his house, and we knew that there are some times where you just don't have a choice, where you don't have the resources and they need round-the-clock medical care, and an institution is what you have to do. And so we knew that might happen to us, and we might have to put him in a home, but we labored industriously to keep that from happening. That we wanted to avoid it, if at all possible. So I think a home with your people is always better if that's an option. Yes?
I have to face when I hated my parents in elementary school. Was I not a Christian in elementary school? Because I really hated my parents.
Well, so when you hated your parents when you were in elementary school, I can't say whether you were a Christian or not, but I can say that you weren't acting like a Christian in that respect, right? So hating your parents is a sin, and big newsflash, Christians sin. You can be a true Christian and fall into the sin of disrespecting parents in ways you ought not. But everybody who knows you could look at that and say, that is not Christian behavior. So since you're a Christian, why don't we encourage you to come around, to repent? So that's how I'd answer that question.
Luckily, I no longer hate.
Yes, very big plus. Yes.
A single woman who's independent under her father or her pastor.
So is a single woman who's independent, financially independent, is she under her father or her pastor? She is not under the pastor in any sense other than the sense that all the parishioners in the church are. So there's nothing unique about her status in the congregation with regard to the board of elders. So the elders have no more authority over her than they have over families and young men. So she should honor the authority that the pastor and elders have, but it's not a unique authority because of her single woman status. Okay? Now, with regard to her family, her dad, it depends on the circumstances, and if dad is 80 and she's 60, it's different than if she's out on her own for the first time and she's 19 and dad's watching out and taking care of the car for her, and dad's doing all the normal stuff that he used to do, only she lives in a different place. The dynamic there ought to be that she looks to him and respects him and honors him and seeks his advice on all kinds of things. And I'd say the fundamental issue would be when it comes to a romantic attachment. When a guy comes around, what do you do? If you're in high school and a guy comes around, he's got to go through dad because dad's right there. Dad will kind of insist on him, but for example, my sister was a missionary in Turkey, and she was in her 30s, and she was on the other side of the world, and she was a missionary, but she was teaching English as sort of a cover because what she was doing as a missionary was not quite legal, and so she was teaching a class to Turks who wanted to learn English. And one of the young men in the class got interested in her and started to show attention to her, and she told him to get lost and gave him a Bible. And normally you tell people to get saved and you give them a Bible, but she told him to get lost. And he was indignant. He's not a Muslim, he was Armenian Orthodox. And I'm a Christian, what's the deal here? But he was offended, and then went away and started reading the Bible, and was converted while he was reading the Bible. And he was still interested in her after he was converted, and was still showing attention. So my sister wrote my dad here in Idaho. she's an independent missionary in her 30s and said, Dad, there's this guy showing interest. I'm not entirely uninclined. What do you want me to do? And so my dad said, well, I'm going to correspond with my now brother-in-law, I'm going to correspond with him for a set period of time, and we're going to talk about all kinds of things, anything but Heather. We're not going to talk about her. I'm going to get to know him. So my father corresponded with him back and forth for weeks, a few months, I think, and then gave his blessing on the relationship, and he pursued her, and they got married in Istanbul. And it was a case of my sister honoring her father. It wasn't my father demanding control over the details of her life. She was an independent woman, a missionary, serving the Lord, but she honored my father, and I think God honored her as a result of that. So it's a matter of honor and deference, not a matter of command and control. Okay? Yes?
So how do these rules apply to, like, say, your grandparents or your aunts and uncles? Are they the same?
Okay. How do these rules apply to your grandparents and your aunts and uncles? Are they the same? No, they're not exactly the same, but they're analogous. So all the duties that you have toward your parents have toward your grandparents. And so you want to be contributing to the life of the family in such a way that it makes your parents' obedience to these commandments smoother. All right? You don't want to behave in such a way as to bring your grandparents and your parents into conflict. Right? Have you ever seen that happen? Where parents have to discipline grandchild, and the grandparents are saying, don't discipline. I can't believe you're going to spank little Billy. He's the best grandchild we've got. Yes, Mom replies, because we spank him. Right? So basically, you want to be together with your parents, helping them to honor their parents, and that's how you honor your grandparents. With aunts and uncles, you want to respect them as your elders and as family, but you don't have the same direct responsibility to go out of your way to honor. Yes?
What's the difference between cursing and mocking your parents?
Between cursing and mocking? So what's the difference between cursing and mocking? Good question. Mocking would be making fun of. You could make fun of someone without using any bad words at all. What a dope. I can't believe. You can be contemptuous and disrespectful and mocking by just laughing at things you shouldn't laugh at, bringing things up that were embarrassing to them, and then you bring it up again to rub it in. That kind of mockery can be done without curse words. Cursing would be sort of open, defiant contempt. So telling someone to go to hell is a curse, or God damn you is a curse. And sometimes in the Bible, there are instances of righteous curses. If we or an angel from heaven preaches to you a gospel other than the one you received, let him be accursed. So there is such a thing as righteous cursing, but kids ought not ever to be cursing their parents where they're cussing them out.